This is a breakup story, but this is not a sad story. Many years ago, I went through a very, very painful breakup. And all of us have gone through those times when we don't know what to do or how something happened or why. And why did it happen to us, right? But this breakup came out of nowhere. And I was young and naive, and inexperienced. I hadn't really dated much up until then. And at that time in my life, there were many interesting, paranormal, unexplained phenomena happening around me. At that time, there were many things happening around me that I didn't understand. Besides the breakup itself, of course, there were many other things happening that I couldn't understand or even begin to research about. All the strange phenomena and paranormal experiences that were happening around me. But so, breakup happened, and as most people going through a painful breakup understand and know, the first few days are the hardest, most of the time, for most people. And the day after, I didn't really know what to do, and being extremely sensitive, not only because of my Asperger's, but also because I was always a sensitive kid growing up, a sensitive teenager, an extremely sensitive adult. Let's just say it was almost unbearable, the pain. Not only the pain of the breakup itself, but the pain of not understanding why. Because there was no explanation, somebody just disappeared, right? But the following day, I did still go to work. I never even thought about calling off, which I should have. In hindsight, I should have called off that day. But the way I was raised by both my mother and my grandmother, we never shy from our responsibility. So I did go to work, and I had this coworker who sat right next to me. Her desk was right next to my desk, and she was a sweetheart. We had to go do a table showing of our products and services at a local nursing home for the disabled and mentally disabled later on that day. But in the morning I showed up, and you can only imagine what I looked like, right? After a sleepless night, crying all night, and I was lost, confused, and I'm sure I scared some people when I showed up for work that day. And this girl, she turned to me and she said, "Really, I don't think you should go to this event with me later on today." The event was around 1:30 that afternoon. She said, "You shouldn't even have come here. And honestly, I think you need to go seek professional help." I kind of chuckle now because it was so true. And of course, me not seeing me the way other people were seeing me, I can only imagine how scary I may have looked. I told you this is not a sad story because I can even laugh about it now. But back then, there was nothing to laugh about. So we get to the nursing home, me and this coworker, right? And we were supposed to set up a table. You know how that goes. You put up flyers and handouts and other materials about the company. And we were supposed to talk to the people who worked in the office and offer them our program, as they were coming back from lunch. So we set up this table. It was nice, just, I'll tell you, it was nice being there because it was such a contrast of what I was going through, or thought I was going through, with all the heartbreak and the pain, and seeing those sweet people. Some of them were nonverbal. Some of them, they couldn't walk, not the employees, but the residents of the nursing home. And I just looked at them and I thought, my goodness, what I'm going through is nothing compared to what they're going through. And they don't even, that's all they know when they live here, and they're just happy. A lot of them were smiling, and I thought, well, look at them. Look how wonderful and lovely and adorable and just good they are. If they can go through life the way that they are, I too can get through this. But of course, I had to hold back from crying while we were there. And so right after we set up the table and we were waiting for the employees of the facility to start coming through, maybe they would stop by our table, but it was just me and my coworker sitting there. So all of a sudden, for some reason, I still don't understand, I felt this attraction towards this poster that was on the wall. It was just a yellow fish swimming in the middle of a school of other fish, and the yellow fish was a different color, so it stood out. And as you can see right now, because I have it up to share with you all, that what you're seeing now is the exact picture that I took that day. So yeah, I got up and I said, hey, let me just take a picture of this poster, which to my coworker, I was already people thought I was strange, of course, because not only my autism, but because I was known to share pictures and videos of all the things I was seeing back then. Still do, but I make the photos, I take the photos and I make videos, but I don't really show them to everybody around me. But at that time, I didn't know what was happening, and I just felt like sharing. So when I got up to take a picture of the poster, of course she looked at me like I had 3 heads, but it was normal for me, quote unquote, to have that kind of behavior, especially as I had been crying and oh my God, where is he? And he left and I don't know and all. Okay, so I get up and I take a picture of this poster. And, didn't think much of it, went back, sat down, and when we take pictures, most of us, we go right back and we look at them. And when I looked, I see this heart of light that was created by the flash in my phone's camera. And for a second, I did a double take and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wait a minute, is this what I think it is? Is this a heart? And then your mind just starts going like, is this even normal? Does the flash is it even capable of doing this? How did this happen? But these thoughts go through your mind like in a second or two, right? And then I showed my coworker and she said, look at this. And, she's just rolling her eyes at this point before she even looked at the picture. And she's like, okay, let me look at it. But when she saw it, all the color drained from her face. She was like really pale. And I said, do you see what I'm seeing? She said, the heart? Yeah, I see it. So, but this is what happened. When I sat there, and of course, right after this, all the employees started coming through, and we did what we had to do for work, and we left. But when I got home that night, I remember thinking, that was a sign. That was a sign from God that everything is going to be okay, that everything will be all right. And honestly, the pain of the breakup, yeah, it was still there. But seeing that heart of light, a miracle, a sign, something that I had never seen, anything like that before show up in any of my photographs. So I just thought, God is trying to tell me that everything will be okay, that everything is going to work out fine, for me not to worry, and maybe that things still in the future will be better than fine. And in God's perfect wisdom, and these little winks from heaven, as I now call them, that heart of light, especially coupled with the phrase on the poster, expect to be accepted for who you are. Expect to be accepted for who you are. It was like two messages in one, and something really exciting in the middle of all that pain. And as this was over, my goodness, this was such a long time ago. And yes, everything did turn out quite all right. And I didn't have anything to worry about. And eventually, I did find out why he had vanished, he had disappeared, and I never even had to go look for this information, or as a matter of fact, he showed up himself and told me when I didn't even care anymore, when I didn't really want to know. But that's another story for another video. But the whole point of this video is to let everyone know, pay attention, be aware, even if you're going through hard times and difficulties. God will always send us signs and little clues along the way to let us know to not lose hope, even in the middle of the storms. So that's it. Pay attention. Pay attention to the signs and to all the little winks from heaven.